Hey now, long time no talk. I know I haven't done an autograph analysis, God, in a month, maybe more. It's been a long time. Part of the reason is we're on to Lou Gehrig, and Lou Gehrig, probably next to Babe Ruth, is probably the most commonly forged autograph of any pre-World War II player. He is very. It's funny. Ron says he's not that easy to replicate. I think he's very easy to replicate. Just looking at his autograph. Listen, I'm going to go over these today. It's probably going to be one of the longer videos, and it is going to take a while to go over because there is so much to look at. And in addition to that, there's so many fakes out there. He's got to be probably in the top 5 of most forged autographs ever. When I say most forged, yeah, the mantles are out there, ridiculous numbers, but like most of the fake mantles are pretty easy to identify. The Gehrigs are much more tough. And something else I think you'll see as a common theme is the fact that a lot of these fake Gehrigs were really good in like the late 90s, early 2000s, to the point where the TPAs were passing them because they were so good. Because again, then a guy by the name of Peter Nash, you can Google him. He's probably a black eye to the hobby in a lot of ways. But one thing he did do good was help the end user, the buyer, whatever, collector, identify fakes or things to look at for Gehrig and others. He also had his agenda that he constantly tried to push. He was not a good guy for the hobby, but he did bring to light a lot of the forgeries that were out there and a lot of the stolen stuff. But so I'm just going to tell you right now that a lot of photos I'm going to use today when I did a lot of my research did come from Pete Nash's site. It was called the Halls of Shame. It's since been pretty much shut down. It may exist in some weird form. I'm not endorsing Peter Nash at all as a good guy. He was not a good guy. Again, you can look into him. You can Google him, all the bad things he did with the hobby. But he did do some good things. In my opinion, he did do some good things. So without any further ado, I guess, we're going to get into the Iron Horse's autograph. But again, I want to make just like a quick notation that this is not going to be perfect, like I said. I'm going to leave out a lot of things. If you're watching one thing, if I were to buy a Lou Gehrig autograph today, it better be ironclad. I'm not looking for cuts. I'm not even looking at baseballs because baseballs are heavily, heavily forged, which we'll get into today. But it like has to be ironclad. I want a letter of authenticity, probably within the last 10 years, because a lot of these fakes were discovered more recently. So I don't know if the TPAs were like looking at the little minutia details 10, 15 years ago. We have more information now than we did then because the family, as you'll see, let go of a lot of his stuff. His archive has been released in the last 5 to 10 years. So that helped identify what to look for when it comes to Lou Gehrig. So I guess without any further ado, let's take a look at the autograph analysis of the Iron Horse himself, like I said, Mr. Lou Gehrig. So we're going to start right here, and this is obviously the PSA database. Now, this is a very early Lou Gehrig autograph. This is like 1923 dated. I wanted to start with this because you're probably not going to see an autograph like this. I mean, very little of this autograph of his remained to what we'll see towards the end of his life. I mean, the G, you sort of want to see the C right here. And it doesn't bounce his autograph that much throughout his entire life. The L and the G should be around the same height. So moving on, this is a full signed autograph. Now, again, you still can see that C right here. The G drops down and around. You're not going to see that as we get more further on. Again, this is 1924. We still have a very young Lou Gehrig. And as we get further along, you're going to see how his autograph evolved more and more. The Henry Louis Gehrigs are out there. They're very rare. They demand a huge premium. We'll look at it a little bit later. You're only really going to see them on like signed documents. Everything else was signed Lou Gehrig pretty much. Moving on right here. Can't see here, but again, this is an earlier autograph of Lou Gehrig. Again, very nice, very pronounced. The G still comes around right here. It still looks like a C, what you want to see right here. You want to see a level. You can see all here, everything. The O, which is usually a closed O, but again, early on examples, like this is an 1825 example, do have an open O. And it doesn't slant very much to the right. You're going to see as this autograph evolves, the autograph starts to fall a little more to the right at like a 60, 65-degree angle. Again, this is still an early autograph of Lou Gehrig's. And you can see right here, you can see the full C. You can still see it's on a line. Again, now what we're trying to do, the key thing with the Lou Gehrig is and how to tell from the wife, and it's tougher to tell at the earlier autographs of his, is like this, the easiest way for me to see. And again, there's other things with the wife, the way to tell, because his wife did sign for Lou Gehrig towards the end of his life when he became sick. Anything probably around 1939 on, there's a good chance, unless it's real shaky, which I may have an example of, probably not real. But the L right here, it's kind of like a U. It comes up and it comes back down. You don't want to see a full circle down here of the Lou Gehrig. Again, this is a document right here of a full payroll check. Again, you kind of can see the C right here. It's a full Henry Louis Gehrig. It's on a nice level plane to me. You see that L right here. So it comes up to a sharp point at the bottom. It comes back down. That's a key thing to look for in the Lou Gehrig's autograph. And that's going to be consistent throughout his entire life. Again, you don't want to see any hesitancy whatsoever in his autograph early on in life. Not till, oops, I don't know what just happened there. Not till we get later on into his life where you're going to see things. Again, here we have an early contract. And this is from 1931. Again, as you can see right here, see we talk about the L. It comes up, sharp tip right here, falls back down, almost like a U. And I see the C. I don't know if you can see it right there. This is a little odd for a Lou Gehrig autograph because it goes like sort of like opposite. It's still on a level plane. It's not like at a flat parallel line like the line right down here, but it still doesn't bounce very much like we've talked about with other players. Moving on right now, again, we're up to 1933 with his autograph. Here's a full Henry Louis Gehrig. Again, you can see the G now is starting to fall a little bit to the right, if you could see that. We want to see the L right here. I mean, obviously, this is real. This is from his family. It's a 1933 player contract. But you can see the tip right here. And we're going to get to it as we get further and further along. And again, the good thing about PSA is they have 45 pictures. That's a lot for any Hall of Famer, especially going this far back. I'm going to just keep going a little bit quicker now because, again, they do a nice job. And what's nice about here is you sort of can date your Gehrig autograph if you know what year it was signed. Because this is 1935 Lou Gehrig. So we're moving on here. This is another 1935 Lou Gehrig. Again, you can see right here with the tip right here. That's what I want to look for. You see the nice C right here. Now, as you get towards the mid to late 30s, and this is important, the Lou, the second part of that U, starts to disappear. We'll get to that later and why that's so important. Okay, now we're getting to a government postcard where, again, this is a probably postcard signed in the mid to late 30s, and that U is almost just like an I right here. We still have that tip right here. But see, it's almost like that second line that we saw earlier is almost gone. It gets absorbed into the autograph. Again, a nice flowing signature. It's tough to tell because it's going an upward angle, but it's still falling a little bit towards the right, the entire autograph, which you just want to see. Again, now we're to 1936, a full signed contract. I can't tell right now what year this is. I don't want to fathom even a guess. So again, right here with the Lou Gehrig, again, it's tougher to see right here. We can't see this little the U as much as I want to see, but again, really nice writing. It's going on a sort of an upper right projection, which we want to see, but the autograph itself is falling a little bit to the right. Again, you can tell this is mid to late 30s because that U is almost gone. See, it's all now an I. And again, the Gehrig, the G's come straight down most of the time with the Gehrig, and it's a racing effect. I'm not really sure when this is signed. My guess is this is signed early 30s, late 20s. It would be down here. Unfortunately, this little StreamYard thing is covering up exactly what we want to see where it's this signed. Again, this is what we want to see in a Lou Gehrig right here. You see, it's tough to see. The pen probably skipped a little. My guess is this is signed mid 30s here because of the tip, and the U is still somewhat there. I want to get to some more. Again, a beautiful signed check. I don't know what year this is, but again, this was released by the family. Hold on, we can go back right here, 1939. Yeah, and this is towards the end of his, I hate to say it, but his life right here. So again, this is signed 1939. Nice racing effect. He still had a nice signature in 1939, which sort of says something. I can't see the autograph right here. Henry Louis Gehrig. Again, this is his passport released by the family. A beautiful piece. This is easily five-figure piece. 1931, it looks like. Again, beautiful signed passport, probably early 1930s. One of his friends released, this is fairly recent, released a bunch of Christmas cards every year that he signed to this lady. And again, you can see right here, you can still see the C. This is probably judging, but you see the tip right there, which we wanted to see racing. It's going upward and to the right, which is what we want to see. We talked about this. I'm pretty sure this was signed, it says right here, 1938 baseball team. The O, you see the U is just literally just one U right now. We have the closed O, the G sign right here. The tip we talked about, the G comes straight down. The G should come right down right here as well. But again, this one I can't tell. Again, I can't tell a date, but again, it has all the characteristics we want to see. Now, I know Ron talks a lot about these cards being faked. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they are. But what's important about this is probably signed at the ballpark. Why do I say that? Lou Gehrig's ballpark signature was a little different than his normal signature. And we'll talk about this shortly here. He signs, see how it's all one stroke. The L, the O goes straight into the G. Now, we're going to talk about fakes a little bit later. But what's so important is you don't want to see a full U when you see this racing effect with one letter. And a lot of the forgeries, which we'll look at later, which what I think are forgeries at least, will have a full U, which you'll see later. Again, I'm not sure when this was signed, but again, it looks great to me. You got the tip right there. The U is almost gone. The G comes straight down. It's going upwards and to the right, but it's still falling down itself. Again, probably, a ballpark signature. You can see right here, L-O, one letter. You can barely make out the U, which is good, which is important, upward and to the right. I've seen this photo before. There is, it's most likely good. Some people say it's not good just because of the fact that again, I don't want to talk about the Ruth right now and the Lou Gehrig. It's a little bit odd of a U for the Lou Gehrig right here. But, I mean, just, again, be careful. I know, like, oh, wow, this looks beautiful. So it's probably real. Again, we've looked at this one already. This one, I don't know. Okay, this is a government postcard. Now, government postcards by Gehrig are fairly rare. And the reason is the government postcard, the idea of collecting those didn't become real common to the 30s. And by then, I mean, he had a good 4 or 5 year window to maybe sign them and return them, but there aren't that many out there. All the ones I've seen are from the mid 30s. And again, the L is like almost on top of each other right here with the nice tip. The U is barely formed, but again, it's still going a little bit up and to the right with the Lou Gehrig itself that was falling. If that makes any sense at all. Now, this one's tough. I want to leave this one out. I'm not really sure. I think it's good because it's from the Uncle Jimmy collection, which is a fairly recent collection. We'll get to his wife's signature a little bit later. Again, this is the Uncle Jimmy collection. What you want to see here, which is nice, is that little point at the bottom here. You don't see the full U. You see only part of it. It's the Uncle Jimmy collection had a nice provenance also. I don't want to get into it. So again, I thought, okay, here's one they had. This was signed in like 1940, 1941. And you can see the effects that Lou Gehrig's disease had on Lou Gehrig ALS. And within 1 year, you can see this is signed maybe September 1940. I don't know the exact month. Can't bring it up. But it was signed in late 1940. So within 1 year, his signature is pretty much gone. So, unfortunately, like I said, so anything signed post 1939, just be very wary of. I'm racing through these now, unfortunately. So probably mid 1920s. This one, open O. I can't tell if the U is there or not. Not a huge fan of this. I know it's on PSA's database. They would never get it wrong, right? So, okay, let's move on here. So let's talk about some of the forgeries. This is what I want to start with. This is a real Lou Gehrig autograph. The problem with this Gehrig autograph is it showed up twice on 2 different websites at the same time. So this is very common with Gehrig. We're going to get this a little bit later. One of these, and I don't know if it's this one or another one, was a laser copy. And whoever did this did a good job. It's becoming more and more common now, especially as technology is advanced. We're seeing a lot of laser copies of autographs. Some of them are so good that there's no question it's a laser copy. It looks like it was signed yesterday. Then you have ones like these, faded, and like the U, you can see here is really faded. It's like, oh, you know what? This probably is no good. Now, or it is good, excuse me. But there's another one just like it sold at the same time. One of them is a fake. I don't have the technology with me to tell you which one it is, so I don't want to say. But again, usually when Gehrig signed and you're looking at Gehrig autographs, he signed fairly small. Usually he rarely signed a sweet spot baseball. That's why they're so valuable, and they're most likely always forged. If he did sign the sweet spot, it should be more than halfway up on the baseball right here. He signed fairly small, believe it or not, on baseballs. Probably from what's it called? Learning from Babe Ruth. Let him sign the sweet spot until he retired. Now, these are both good baseballs. These are real. And what you want to notice right here, we're going to call these out in a second. When you're looking for a Lou Gehrig baseball, a couple of things to look for. Number one is usually, not always, usually the L and the G overlap right here. And there's arrows here. Again, I took these from Peter Nash's site. The second thing to look at is the UU is not fully formed in Lou. So let's move on a little bit more. This is a wife signed autograph. There's how you can tell is, and again, it looks, if you look closely, it looks pretty good like the Lou Gehrig's autograph. The key thing, the key thing to tell is, because look, it goes up to the right, it's kind of falling, is this L right here. You see how it's a nice perfect circle down here? You don't want to see that perfect circle. You see that perfect circle, it's a wife signed autograph. He always signed almost like a U, up to a point and down. No U. This is definitely a wife signed autograph. This is something else right here. And again, it's tough to see, but all these autographs, this is the original autograph we looked at, the first one. So we know it's a good autograph. I don't know which one is real or laser, but it's good. Now, all these surrounding these are all fake autographs. And if you look at them, they all look good. You know what I'm saying? From the naked eye, they all look good. Most of them are good, but the ones right here, the key thing to tell, it's tough to see here. You have a full U. Let me go more to the next one right here. Yeah. So you can see right here is a 2 up U. You see that right here? It goes up right here. There's another up right here. Same thing right here. It goes up right here, up right here. Again, this also is supposedly a fake because it's tough to tell. Man, the whoever did a really good job. The reason why they think this is a fake is not because of the W, basically they go up and up, but Gehrig rarely ever signed a ball this high up. You know what I'm saying? Usually you want to see space, like I said, right here. So again, these forgers were really good. Again, this is another wife signed autograph. You could tell by the perfect circle right there. So again, you see right here the fakes. You see the full U right there. There's a full U right there. You don't want to see that with Gehrig when they're racing like this. You want to see I'm drawing a blank. You want to see the only half a U at most, or no U at all. And like I said, these are really, really good. The authenticators have this down now. So again, I think this is the last one right here. These are good. You can't see the U right here, but here you can see the full U right here. There's a full U right here. But listen, they got the L down and everything. They got the falling down. I mean, the forgeries here are really, really good. You really have to be careful. I mean, moving on, we'll get back to this in a second. We talked about I want to go to Heritage real quick. Like I said, the family released like a bunch of stuff through Heritage in 2019. And like these are the checks. You can see the checks go from 20 to 30,000. If you're in the market for a Gehrig, I mean, you have to be at least $3,000 just for a cut, a bad cut. This is my postcard right here. This was like triple authenticated from 1930. I like it because it was a government postcard. It had a lot of provenance to it. The L's what I wanted to see. Plus the U, like we talked about, you don't see it coming up. You only see it going across one time. So finally, I just want to move into eBay, and I picked up a couple of things right here. So, I mean, this baseball is the same as this baseball, but like different sellers. So, and I don't even know if this baseball is good, to be honest. It has a full U, it looks like. So I don't even think this is good. But like one thing you gotta be careful about eBay is people are just gonna copy listings of good listings and make it bad. I don't know if this is a laser or not. I just wouldn't buy it just because the seller only has a rating of 13 and this seller only has a rating of 1. So my guess is they're taking some sort of stock photo and reusing it and reusing it and reusing it. And again, with it looks like there's the full U, so I would even stay away from this. What else did I see on eBay? Like this one, I'm talking about lasers. It looks like they were signed yesterday. Let's go to this one. You be the judge of that. I mean, come on. Like that's a real Gehrig. Oh, let me scroll down here. Yes, that's probably a real Gehrig autograph, but he didn't sign this baseball. It looks like it was signed yesterday. I mean, come on. Stephen Roche LOA. I mean, even without seeing the LOA, look at this. I mean, no Gehrig baseball is going to look this nice on the sweet spot anymore. Like I said, the lasers are really good right now. I just want to move on. Couple more. This book right here is on there right now. Now, you can see this is like a government postcard. It was mailed. Now, we talked about this. You can see the perfect circle down there. This is not certified, but if they were, I guarantee it would come back signed by the wife. So, I mean, God, I've gone 20 minutes on Lou Gehrig. I mean, you can go longer. I mean, there's so much out there on Gehrig. There's so many fakes out there on Gehrig. Do your research. Be careful. If you're going to buy something, you want to buy a multi-signed piece probably because the odds are he signed it at the ballpark with other people. So that's one actually good thing to look for. I would avoid cuts, although there's a lot of cuts out there because he's most commonly signed at the ballpark. That was because based on his life, that's how they got it. They were, like I said, they weren't really mailing it to him. If you're buying a baseball, be so careful. I mean, look for that full U. You don't want to see it. Like Gehrig rarely signed on a sweet spot. He usually signed on the side. You want to get a TPA letter. Like I said, within the last 5 to 10 years, the TPA they made mistakes. They didn't know. I've talked to TPAs about this, and they admit they made mistakes. Not necessarily on the Gehrig, but it happens. I mean, we're all human. So be so careful on Lou Gehrig. So we're done with Lou Gehrig. I didn't think I'd ever get through that. We're gonna move from a really hard one to a much easier one, and that is my hometown boy Charlie Gehringer. So I really hope you learn something. I hope you hit the like button, and I hope no matter what you keep collecting. Thank you so much for watching.